السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All of us, it is an absolute must, it is essential, and alhamdulillah, all of us know that Salah is a pillar in Islam. It's one of the 5 pillars after our Aqidah, which is the first pillar. There's nothing more important than Salah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said more or less the meaning, it is the line or the demarcation between Iman and Kufr. That's how serious it is. It's so serious that there is an academic discussion that if a person is not making Salah, are they even Muslim? That's how intense it gets. Okay? Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this external action has an internal effect. That what does it do? It stops us from fahsha being obscene, perverse, right? Munkar, doing those things that are outside of ma'ruf. We know like munkar or ma'ruf, right? So all of those things that are outside of the parameters that Allah Ta'ala has set for us are considered munkar. You with me? So now, this internal effect, that is actually the desired result. Is that how do you know if you are making salah properly? Because you will change. There was one Sahabi, he came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he became like privy to some knowledge about another Sahabi that was getting drunk, intoxicated. And we know that's a big no-no. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him one question. Is he making salah? Yes. Leave him alone. Contrary to popular opinion today, like mashallah, there's torches and pitchforks and everything else, and mashallah, somebody's getting hanged outside of the front of the masjid, and like mashallah, we're all pious muttaqeen, and that's the munafiq hanging from the front of the masjid. Allah Ta'ala gave it to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell this Sahabi, tell his companion, if he's making salah, leave him alone. Why? Because the salat is what's going to stop him. He's taking the medicine. Give it some time to take effect and watch. It will cure the disease. But it has to be done properly. It has to be done with that intent. Because the first stage of salah is actually just force yourself to do it. That's the first stage. It is the stage of a new Muslim. So your mindset is just get this done properly, okay? That is the mindset that you teach children and new Muslims. This is how you do it. This is how you make wudu. This is how you make ghusl. This is how you make salah, okay? Here's the timings, etc. Get it done. This is your first mission. Now, unfortunately, there's so many that never came out of that. There was never a step beyond that. So they were just taught like, this is how you do it. You have to do it. It's an obligation. Do it or else. And that is the extent of the conceptual understanding and the theory even behind the actual practical application, the utility and the benefit of salah itself. So we are mahroom, deprived. Because it's like you're given a superpower, but instead of thinking of superpower, you're thinking it's a super weakness. And that's the reason why ulama, if they're saying like, if you think salah is so easy, then make it 5 times a day in its right times. Prove it. Do it the correct way with khushu and khudu. Stop making excuses. Stop worrying about your social acceptance. But the people at work are going to see me. See you what? Well, being Muslim. Why are you hiding it? Why do you want to hide it? You should be the one when they're like, your name is Bilal, and they tell you, say, hey, Bill. Like, me? Oh, whoa. Oh, we don't do that. Sorry. My name is Bilal. Bill somebody else. Maybe William, Will, like Bill, Bob, but I'm Bilal. Muhammad, I am not Mo. My name is Muhammad. It is the most popular name on the face of this earth. I am named because of the most popular person ever walked the face of this earth. I am named Muhammad because of the most popular person on Yawm al-Qiyamah. I am named Muhammad because I am his ummati. I am named Muhammad because he is my Nabi. I am named Muhammad because of the honor of carrying that name. Don't you dare call me Mo. When you think like that, when you have that level of confidence in your identity, who you are, how you are, you know your history. And to an extent, you know your future more than they do. So now this Salah, it's what? It is, like cops carry badges. You know what the badge of a Muslim is? Salah. You know how you recognize a Muslim? Salah. Even a lot of times you can actually recognize a munafiq or somebody who is not a fake Muslim just when they make salah. Just when they make salah. So, being that this thing is so important to us, and that currently, unfortunately, the predominant understanding of salah is actually an elementary school or Sunday school level. And a lot of times, the people that taught how to make salah, it's common in Sunday schools today, are unqualified to teach. But that's the value that we have for knowledge, is that we don't like paying ulama, we don't like taking care of them, and we don't like paying teachers, we don't like taking care of them. We really don't care about the qualifications, so we'll just get a live, warm body. It's like, are you Muslim? Yes, you're qualified. Go ahead. Teach the next generation. Why? Because you don't have a value for knowledge. Because you don't have a value for doing it the right way. Because you don't have a value for the inheritance of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yeah, at the same day, it's like, imagine mashallah, you come to me and say, you need surgery? Yeah. You see that guy in the corner? Just go ask him. Hey, you got a knife? I got a knife. You're hired. Huh? You want to put your wife with that surgeon? You want to put your kids with that surgeon? Your parents? Why? It's going to hurt him. They're not going to get better. They could potentially die. Why would I let that lunatic, unqualified lunatic, perform surgery on a family member of mine, a loved one of mine? Have you lost your mind? You would look at me as if I'm the one who's insane. And yet, I go from place to place to place and watch people put the most precious thing to them, an amanah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a trust. They don't even belong to us, they belong to Allah. This amanah, this trust, which is the next generation of Muslims, Allah ta'ala gave them to us as an amanah, a trust. You take care of them, you prepare them, you get them ready, you teach them, you be their role models, you support them. And what do? One day a week, we go plop them down in a place that is patterned after Christianity, Sunday school. And then we're going to put an unqualified individual in the room with him who probably is sitting there reading the book themselves the night before or sometimes the morning before, to now go into this classroom and teach the future of Islam. And then wonder when they become teenagers why they're like, I don't want to do this. I agree. And I will sit here right in front of you. And when I sit with those young people, I tell them, if I was you, I'd feel the same way. By the time I'm 13, 14, 15 years old, they don't want to have anything to do with this nonsense. And they're right. They're right. They're seeing what adults should have already have seen, what their parents and community leaders have already seen, that what you are trying to provide us is sorely inadequate, and that teachers are inept, So now we are underserved and we are not prepared to deal with the challenges that we are going to face in modern society, in the modern academic system, in the modern workplace. Right? So now they grow up with what? This understanding of Salah, this understanding of wudu, this understanding of their Islam. And now we have young people that leave Islam because they think that there's no spirituality to it. That's literally what they're saying. I was like, don't you never seen Salah? Yeah, but it's just orders. Like we have to, like, this is how you do it. You have to make wudu, and then like you go, and then you perform these, and you say this, and it's like, but how is that spiritual? I'm like, all right, whoa. Let's go all the way back. Step one, square one. Like we need to start from scratch here. Because if you were like asking me, Salah, what is there spiritual about that? It's like, Allahu Akbar, you missed the boat. Nobody told you? Nobody taught you? Dude, this is the key to it all. You got any problem? Salah. Any difficulty, any challenge, any fear, any concern? Salah. What did Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam if the wind just blew hard? Where did he go? To the masjid. To do what? Perform 2 rakats. Drought, it's not raining. What's the answer? Salah. Somebody dies, what's the answer? Salah. No matter. You have a haja, you want to do istikhara, you're seeking khair. What do? You make salah. You're worried about a family member, you're worried about your future, you're worried about your past. What do? You make salah. You commit sins, make salah. You want to get close to Allah, make salah. Why don't you get that? Because we were taught it's an obligation. We were given this very one-dimensional understanding of our Islam. Nobody talks to us the way you talk to us. But actually, all of us are supposed to speak this way to them. Every last one of us. So that way they're getting the same message consistently. So on that note, that's part of we're talking and, half joking kind of about let's clean up our salat and everything. But all seriousness, it's because we have a tremendous responsibility here. This is the second pillar. And if we're weak, forget the third, the fourth, the fifth. If we're weak in the first one that comes after Aqidah, we cannot be surprised at all of these different situations and conditions, ahwal, that we're dealing with. And we also cannot be surprised that we are suffering the way that we are suffering. Allah is the cause and Allah is the effect. If you believe anything else, then we need to talk about Aqidah first before we talk about Salah. There's no other cause. There's no other effect. There's only La ilaha illallah. Okay? So, that is why Salah is important. Salah is important because we spend that money on those cell phones that we were just talking about, right? Why? So that we can communicate with creation. That's what cell phones are for, isn't it? Social media, even the internet, that's also communication, phone calls, etc. It's all text messaging. It's all communication, creation to creation, using creation. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that no, I am going to give you not a man-made tool, I am giving you the tool of Anbiya alayhimu salatu wasalam, and I am going to establish this in your life as an obligation because it is a means of communication between you and the Creator. And if you're not making salah, or if you're not making it properly, then that means there is an issue with the transition from our side. Not reception, transmission. So let's make sure that we are transmitting clearly, right? Let's make sure that those lines of communication between us and Rabbul Alameen, mashallah, are smooth and crystal clear. Because we need that clarity in our lives. We need that connection and that help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to not only survive in this environment, but rather to thrive in this same environment because we're Muslim. Right? Okay. Now, without further ado, let me explain something about the madhahib. Madhabs, as you probably know them, right? Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahumullah. Okay, now, all four are correct. You must understand something. I'm going to keep this real simple. I don't want to get lost in this. This is for another time, another place, but we need at least a small portion of it here, right, to make sure that we're crystal here. Okay, they're all correct. Roughly 85-90% of the fiqh is agreed upon, okay? Because it is coming on a dalail, which is qat'i, definitive. We're all on the same place. So, for instance, you don't see people making two rukus in the same rak'ah, for instance, or 4 sajdas, or what have you, right? No, now there may be subtle differences, and roughly about 10 to 15%. But those are like, if you're looking at a tree, okay, on the end of the branches, the little small twiggy ones, the new ones, yeah, they're the small, but they're on the ends. It's like that. They're on the ends. It doesn't have to deal with the trunk. It doesn't have to deal with the roots, okay? It's just like on the ends. And that's fine. And all of them are proven through your deen, Quran and Sunnah. The only thing, the reason why they may come to different conclusions, and there's a lot of factors here, but just like to give you one, like to consider, but there are more than this. It's real simple. Different usul. The principles that they are legal principles that they are going to apply as far as how we are going to now digest or process, okay, all of the information about the related subject. Do you see what I mean? Now, how are we going to sift through that and come to a conclusion? What's the process? So in that process and in that methodology, that is where those subtle differences exist. But they're all correct. So when you see somebody and you're thinking, oh, this person is performing it wrong. No, they're just following Imam Malik, and it's correct. It's fine. You don't know any better, so leave them alone. Imam Shafi'i, same thing. You go to a masjid and it's predominantly Arab. Most of the time you're going to see them praying according to Imam Shafi'i. And it's 100% correct. There's nothing wrong with it. And to what extent? When I was learning these different madhahib, 4 plus more, our teachers taught us, and to let you know, like I know where you guys are at too. So he says, if you are at a masjid and you find yourself in another country, say for instance, I'm in Indonesia or Malaysia where they're predominantly Shafi'i, right? Yes, pray the way they pray. So I asked, because I was where you were at, right? What about like if it's fard? And my teacher actually looked at me like, I said something wrong. Like, you shrink, just get real small and be like, I said something stupid. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm sorry. Right? Okay? Subhanallah. But the answer was beautiful because he says, why, do you think they're doing something incorrect that you can't follow them and follow? Right? I was like, oh, dang, wow. He said, what they're doing is correct. So correct that it's also when they're fulfilling their obligations, it is also acceptable the same way you do it. Don't act like what they're doing is only okay if it's nafil. MashaAllah. Go Sheikh, that's how you should do it, right? He check me real quick, put me in my place. But MashaAllah, I'm the one who came out the better for it. May Allah bless him and increase his status in Jannah. Okay? So don't see, if you see somebody doing something, don't get to you're not gangbangers. Okay? You don't have a color. There's no green is for Hanafi and red is for Maliki and blue. So no. We're not gangbangers. So it's he's Shafi'i. Keep an eye on that brother. Never know what those Shafi'is going to do. It's not like that. Stop acting like that. These are our ulama. This is our history. This is our heritage. This is our honor to be associated with these people. These are the inheritors of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, specifically Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And compared to you and I, they are all giants. Each one of them is a Mount Everest. to us at the bottom of some seabed. Okay? So do not disparage any of these ulama. Do not denigrate any of these ulama. Hold them in reverence with high regard. And even if somebody is practicing a different madhab, that is your brother. He is practicing the same Islam that you are. You are supposed to love him. He is supposed to love you. And do not let shaitan use your deen and petty ignorance within your deen to now drive a wedge between you and another Muslim. Fed by arrogance and ego, I am right, you're wrong. You have not studied deen. You do not know. And now, how is Allah Ta'ala going to look at you if you are now looking at somebody with with the lack of husnul dhan, su'ul dhan? Meanwhile, you're looking at that person with this critical eye. He's not like I am. He's not as good as I am. He doesn't do what I do. He didn't learn where I learned. He's not from my country. He's not, he just doesn't get it. Meanwhile, this person that you're talking about is the beloved of Allah. So now you're being displeased with this person will enter you into the displeasure of Allah. Let's save ourselves from that. Let's save ourselves from that. Okay? So now, Hanafi fiqh. What are the conditions? You're going to answer this. What are the conditions to enter into salah? If you do not do these things, your salat is invalid, by the way. That's how important it is. That's why it says ashrat, shurut. These are the conditions. If you do not meet these conditions, you can make the most perfect salah, but it's batilan. It never happened. It never happened. That's why shaitan will come after you with what happens before salah. And then after that, after he messes you up there, he'll give you encouragement. Be like, ooh, that was like the best ruku ever, wasn't it? Look at the way you came up. So smooth. Sami Allahu liman hamida. Rabbana lakal hamd. Oh, look at you. MashaAllah. Yeah. You know why he's cheerleading you? Because he's sitting there dancing on your forehead, laughing because he's like, this idiot thinks he's making salah right now. This idiot thinks he's making salah. Look at him go. Look at the sajda. Oh, he thinks he's doing something right now. Riyadh, that's exercise. So what are these conditions? You have to be? That's to be Muslim. Okay, wudu? Okay. This one at a time. All right. So we've got wudu, and then we've got niyyah. What else? I heard something also. The timing. The place itself has to be clean. Clothes have to be clean. What's that? Got one more left. Already there. Who said? Qibla. MashaAllah. Watch this. Daniel, how long have you been Muslim? 2 years. Most of the answers are coming from the new Muslim. Verily, there are signs. Okay? So now, those are the things that have to be done in order for you to even enter into salah. You can say takbir, tahrim all you want to. Allahu Akbar. And I don't have wudu. Right? Less salah to be doing wudu'in. Right? There is no salah without wudu. There's no salah. Okay? So please, we're not doing wudu and everything today, okay? But for instance, if I ask you, what are the fara'id of wudu? Do you know? What are the fara'id of ghusl? Do you know? There's only 3 things needed for ghusl. In Hanafi fiqh, I could push you into the river or to the pool or a lake or whatever, right? You come out and be like, how's your ghusl doing? In Hanafi fiqh, do you know what the obligations are? Now, here's the thing. Everybody in this masjid right now should be shaking their head yes. I should be able to line everybody up here and go down the row and be like, whisper to me what's farther than, and every last one of you should be able to do it without any hesitation whatsoever, because we're not talking about now. This is what's under that category. Talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli Muslim. Seeking sacred knowledge is an obligation on every Muslim. This is what it's talking about. So now we don't have any point in questioning the kids. How come you're not making salat? How come you don't want to go to the masjid? How come? Because of us. They also have their culpability, but that's between them and Allah. Let's work about what we are responsible for. Let's work about what we're responsible for. Okay? We have to know these things. Literally, we should be able to spot check each other. Can you imagine what would happen if you came to the masjid and you knew some brother was going to just stop you randomly? Assalamu alaikum, brother. What is fry the wudu? What do you mean you don't know? You're here, aren't you? You're Muslim, aren't you? Look at you. What are you? What was it? 45, 50? How old are you? You don't know come on, brother. It ain't but 4 things. You can't memorize 4 things? You've been Muslim for how long? You can't memorize 4 things. I bet you memorize more than that for your job. You can't memorize 4 things. That's it. It's 4 things for wudu, 3 things for ghusl, for a total for the whole package, 7. MashaAllah, we haven't even got off our 2 hands yet with the fingers. And yet if you line everybody up and say the only way you're leaving this masjid today, we have a riot, wouldn't we? Instead from the outside in, it'd be from the inside out. We'd have a riot. Nobody leaves the masjid unless you can tell me what is obligatory in wudu and what is obligatory in ghusl. Please state your fiqh first, so that way I make sure I get it right. If you say, I am Shafi'i, this is wudu, this is ghusl. MashaAllah, check. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Udu'a lana. Make dua for us. I'm Maliki. Wudu, ghusl. MashaAllah, beautiful. May Allah bless you. Right? Hanafi. Wudu, ghusl. Boom. Yeah, MashaAllah. May Allah bless you. That's your only differences. Can you do it? If we were to do that for Jumu'ah, because everybody wants out, they come in ready to leave. You're okay, I got in here and I have 14 minutes and 17 seconds until it's time to go. Right? And as soon as Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, the rustle begins already. It's doors are open, hold on. Brother, how did you before this? That's curious, right? Allahu Akbar kabira. Imagine if we told everybody, you can't leave unless you can say what the 4 obligations are in wudu and the 3 in ghusl. You imagine what would happen? Okay? So this is not a game. Unfortunately, alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to do these things in other places with other communities. And, to a certain extent, people they don't take it seriously because they're I have been Muslim for this many decades. I've been making salat for this many years. I've gone for Hajj. I am on this board. I'm on that board. And I do backflips on Sundays after 6 p.m. MashaAllah. I don't need this type of. At the same time, what are the obligations of wudu? MashaAllah. This is where the ego comes. Oh, I get some ajib answers, gentlemen. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, ikhwan. Well, you see, there's a lot of things. They start giving you their philosophy and everything. You see, wudu is actually, there's a philosophy and there's a theory behind it. And if you and they go on, it's brother, look, it's 4 things. That's all I need. Well, in my opinion, this is not an opinion. This is not min adh-dhanniyat. Okay? This is not speculative, brother. I just need you to just enumerate 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, brother, you're just trying to trick me. You're just trying to catch me because, like, do you see how the ego can get in the way and like literally stop somebody from like making any progress whatsoever? You don't know what you're doing. And Allah is trying to help you so that you can change that fact. And instead, you'd rather hold on to your ignorance because now that you're no longer 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, you feel in your own mind that you are something that you are not. And that means that's nifaq. So what we're doing this evening, I want you to see it as us escaping nifaq in front of Allah, with Allah's help, in Allah's house, with the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, with that, let's all stand up and line up. I told you don't get comfy. Thought I was playing. If I talk, y'all want to go to sleep. Me too. That's all the talking. Now time for doing. Line up like you're at the, like, mashallah, like Esha time. Okay? Now, oh, you want to know what they are? Okay, mashallah. That's cheating. That's cheating. But okay. So the brother's like, he's like, hold on, brother. You mentioned this wudu and ghusl stuff, and then you don't tell us the answer. Okay. MashaAllah. That's beautiful. Okay, real quick. And then also it's like, so that way you can know, like, hold on, maybe he doesn't know them. Right? Yeah, let's find out. Yeah, MashaAllah. Okay. So there's an ayah, okay, ayah number 6 from Surah Al-Ma'idah. It is known as Ayatul Wudu. All right. So in there are 4 things that are mentioned. You're going to, from the tips of your fingers to your elbows. Now there's a discussion on whether or not the elbows ila marafiq, right? So like there's a whole like ila ka'abain and marafiq. So now like are the ankles and the elbows supposed to be included? Okay. That's where some of these differences come in. But for us Hanafis, you are going to go past the elbow. So the tips of your fingers to past your elbow. What's your danger spots? Danger spots are actually the 2 divots. If you put your arm all the way out, okay, and feel on both sides of your elbow, you'll feel these 2 depressions that exist there, okay? Those 2 depressions are where you have to be careful to make sure they get wet. Why? Because if you don't, this is fard, you don't have wudu. You are right back to, you're just doing exercise when you go to the masjid and you're making salah. Why? Because there is no salah without wudu. Number 2, you are going to do your face. The second one is your face. And it is from where your natural hairline. I just want to check and look at, like, see the hairlines, right? Don't worry, me too. MashaAllah. So from your neck, where your hairline used to be when you were young, okay, to the bottom of your chin, okay, and then you know this little piece of the ear, the little guy that hangs off to the side, from that guy over to the other side. So this is what is considered in Hanafi fiqh to be wajh, your face, okay. The third one is now a ruba, 1/4 of your ra'as, of your head. So the best way for you to understand it is, take your hand, 1, 2, 3, 4. Top, back, left, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as you cover it, it's just 1/4. So even if you just do the top, or you just did the back, or you did the side, you're fine. You have fulfilled that obligation. With me? Last thing, feet, past the ankles. Where now you're going to do what's called khilal, not hilal with a kha. Khilal. Khilal means passing wet fingers through. So now you're going to get your fingers wet. You're going to pass them between your little toes. Okay? Why? Fard. If you don't do it and there's a dry space, you do not have wudu, which means your salah is null and void. It never happened. You think you made dhuhr, but you didn't. Okay? Be careful. Now, where's the danger part for your feet? It is actually on the, you're familiar with your Achilles tendon, your Achilles heel? Okay, the Achilles tendon is actually the tendon. It's running down the back of your leg, and it runs down the back of your ankle to your heel. Okay, that tendon is what allows you to be able to like move your foot around and everything like this, that up and down motion. On both sides of that tendon, there again, those depressions are there. All right, make sure that you get inside of those depressions wet. All right, those are the 4. What are they again? Arms to the elbows, tip of the fingers to the elbows. Face, we define what the face is. Head, 1/4. Feet, past the ankles. Be careful. Make sure you get on both sides of the Achilles heel. There's your fara'id of wudu. Ghusl, 3 of them. Number 1, whole body has to be wet. That means all of the hairs. Women, there's a concession for women for their braids. They can leave the braid in. Scalp has to get wet, but it's okay if the individual hair is wet. That dispensation, that concession does not exist for men. It's only for women. Men should not be trying to like fit into the fiqh of women. Lord. Yeah, more on that in a second. Okay. All right. Now, so your whole body, that means every hair has to get wet. All right. Second thing, you are going to rinse your mouth out. Istinshaq. So now you're going to rinse your mouth out. One time will fulfill the obligation. And then you're going to do your nose. And again, not the, like in Shafi'is, they're doing the whole water in the nose thing and everything. And mashallah, may Allah bless them. In Hanafi fiqh, the part that you're just going to, there's cartilage in your nose, and then there's the actual nose bone. You know, when somebody they say they broke their nose, they have to reset that bone. Okay, that's actual bone right here. And then after that bone part is the cartilage part. You're responsible for the cartilage to the bone. That's it. So you don't need to tickle your brain. You see some brothers and they're making wudu and everything, and they're just got their fingers have completely disappeared. They got this look of like they're taking a COVID test, right? It's like, oh brother, oh Allah Akbar, take it easy on yourself. Yes. Just the soft part. So as long as you get to the bone and the soft part to the bone, you're good. Okay? And there's your ghusl. Again, whole body, mouth, nose. Done. Done. Is niyyah, did I say niyyah for ghusl? I did not. I did not. Niyyah is sunnah. Sequence, we're talking about fard. Okay? The sequence is not fard. And Hanafi fiqh, the sequence is actually not even an emphasized sunnatul mu'akkada. In Hanafi, all right? And like Maliki, they make a different, but again, it's not that major of a deal. Okay? These are your obligations. Now let's get into the salah itself. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So yes, he does know them. So hold on, you have to understand how I had to teach it first. So after graduating, my mentor, he says to me, he says, now you're going to teach this Quduri, all right? So you're going to teach these students. And you know what he told me? No book for you. When you show up to teach this class, don't bring that book. You be the book. So my mutala and everything had to be because right before you're going, it's okay, just real quick, just refresh real quick. Why? Because there's no going back to the book. That's how I was taught. You have to become the book. So that way, like Imam Ghazali, right? When he got robbed. Okay? And the robber's if all your knowledge, if I can just steal your books and I've got all your knowledge, what kind of scholar are you? Imam Ghazali was hey, you're right. You are right. So he went about changing that. MashaAllah. Okay, we got some blanks over here. Please fill in over here. You in the second row. You're going to find out in a second. You're going to end up right back in the second row. Fill up all the space over here, please. If there's some space down on that end, please fill it up. Fill it up quickly, gentlemen, because let's get done. Y'all, you see how fast I talk, how fast I move. I don't play around. I got to keep it going. I got something to do after this too. Okay, mashallah. Room? Move those chairs, brothers. One more? Now. Who's on the, I'm going to sit this down real quick. If I tap you, I want you to step back to the second saf. Just you if I tap you. Second saf. Take one step backwards. There you go. Oops, excuse me. You stay for. Boom, 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 and boom. Second saf. There you go. Now you have room, just like that. MashaAllah, the benefits of being from a military family. Okay, now, everybody has, make sure you keep your spaces. Don't close those spaces. Step directly back. Brother Abdul Wahid, right next to you. Back. There you go. There's your space. Okay, now everybody has room as if you're making individual salat. Now, when you do takbir tahrima, okay, we're starting the salat. You're making the intention now. The intention does not have to be audible. It does, meaning, do you have to say, I am intending on performing 4 rakats for Salatul Isha? In Hanafi fiqh, no, you do not. So now, do you even have to articulate? Say, for instance, if I make wudu at home, and for what? Because I'm preparing for Isha. And then I come to the masjid. Why? Because I'm going for Isha with salat with the Jama'ah. And now the imam is, the muadhin's calling the adhan. And the iqam is being called. Why are you coming forward? Because it's time for Isha. The niyyah is in your heart, not on your tongue. So once it is there, that what are you doing? I am performing Isha. Once that thing is solidified, your niyyah obligation has been fulfilled, even without it being verbally articulated. And again, this is specific to Hanafi fiqh. Okay? Now, when you do takbir or tahrima, you are going to keep your hands at it like regular. I'll do one hand, okay? And you're going to raise your thumb up to the level of your earlobe. Allahu Akbar. And then now you are going to fold. Now, here's a little bit of a... This is going to fall off. Let's give it a shot. When you go into takbir tahrima, you are folding your hands. This is the correct way of doing it. First of all, usually the question is like, where? Like people get frantic up here, down there, this one, that one. It's like all kinds of stuff going on, right? It's like they're doing like kung fu, but really they just don't know where to put their hands. Okay? Relax. It's either going to go your left hand on your navel, or you're going to drop roughly about 2 inches right below your navel. Both of these are okay. The official position, though, is actually below the navel. All right? So your left hand is going to go there. Now, your right hand, your pinky and your thumb are supposed to like make a ring. You're grasping, okay? You're going to grasp your wrist, and the 3 fingers are on top. It should look like this. So I'm grabbing my wrist with my pinky and my thumb, and now my, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, those are 3 that are sitting now on top of my wrist. So it looks like this. Honestly, with the whole, like, where is it here, you know, when you look at it, you're still supposed to be a degree of comfort while you're in salat. You want to be relaxed, because think about it, like, you want to be that guy, inshallah, in the future that, 2 hours go by in salat, or mashallah, during Ramadan, right? Where it's like, imam's like, does witr, you're like, oh, we're done already? Mashallah. I could do another hour. May Allah give you tawfiq to go home and get that hour in, mashallah. Okay? Now, the question is, so now, what are my feet? Well, how far should my feet be apart? Because that's a big thing, right? Because, mashallah, I came up in a time period like we had some Jahil jokers, boy. Woo, Allahu Akbar. And they would do this whole thing like this. Right? And again, just ignorant, just don't know anything. And may Allah bless their little hearts. Okay? There is pretty much no situation where your feet are going to go past your shoulders. That's how you know. If the other brother don't want to meet you halfway, may Allah bless him, but make sure those shoulders are locked up. Okay? Your feet do not go wider than your shoulders, gentlemen. For sisters, their feet are staying together. So this is one of those places, again, where I see brothers praying like women. Why? Feet are together like this. And there's Allah. Again, men, Allahu Akbar. Big, like a man. Women. Which one do you see? Do you see this one? Allahu Akbar. Or do you see this one? Yeah. Talk about masculinity if you want to. Like, we need it in Salah first. So now your feet, the distance in Hanafi fiqh, this is known as a hebr. The hebr is going from if you put your fingers out like this, it's this distance from the tip of your pinky to the tip of your thumb, but going across. So if I take my hand, okay, and I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to place it on the ground in between my feet like this. This will give you the rough distance. This is like this is like the correct way. Like, is it like, oh my gosh, the hebr for him is like 5.5 inches. It looks like he's 6.5. Brother, your salat is not accepted. It's nothing like that, okay? We're talking about like, we just want to make sure that we understand the ideal, right? Another example of that same thing, because it's an excellent question, is that, well, do my feet have to be facing forward? Technically, like ideally, yes. You want your toes pointed towards the qibla. But some brothers, because of like knees and ankles and like their natural body position, right? That is very uncomfortable, if not downright painful for them. So that's not what Allah wants from you. If you can do it and it's not causing you pain and a distraction, you should. But if your situation is like, well, brother, I'm like, they call it duck-footed or pigeon-toed or what have you, right? Whatever the case may be, it's like, brother, that's what Allah did that too. It's okay. All right? But what's the ideal? The hibr. All right? That's the ideal. What do you want to stay away from? The two extremes. Don't put your feet together like a woman. Don't spread them apart like you've lost your mind. Okay? Let's be realistic here. All right. The words and everything, we're not doing that today. We're just doing the positions and everything, right? If you want, like, we can address that at a different time. But like now we're talking about tajweed and so on and so forth. Now we're here. Yes. Yes. Oh, you'll see all kinds of things. Yeah. So no. That's mashallah. May Allah bless you. So he's asking about takbir tahrim or takbir ula, the first takbir, right? So Allahu Akbar, and you see all kinds of things. You see this? Right? It's like whoa, way back. Then we're going in. Okay? You see that? You see this? Allah. It's like this one, like just checking to see if they're still there. Yep. All right. All kinds of weird stuff. It's real simple. What you're doing is you're saying, I am disconnecting. That is why it's called tahrima. Because as soon as you do this now, you are not allowed, you're basically separating away from the dunya to a certain degree. You are not allowed to function in this dunya for this temporary time period the way that you normally do. There's a degree of disconnect. That's why you're saying Allahu Akbar, meaning all my problems, all the issues, all the conditions, all the situations, all of that right now doesn't matter. Doesn't exist. Who exists? Allahu Akbar. Only my Allah exists right now. So meaning what? Can you say whatever you want to say? No. Can you move however you want to move? No. Can you look wherever you want to look? No. Can you eat? No. Can you even give salams or raddu salam, returning the salam? No. Meaning, what are you entering into when you do that takbir tahrima? We are supposed to be entering into a state of complete internal and external obedience. That's the reason why all that stuff becomes haram now. That morsel of food, if you eat in salat, that morsel is haram for you. You with me? Okay. If you see this, because sometimes they come up a little short, that's okay. All right? But again, we're talking about what's the ideal, meaning what are you going to see when you read the books? You're going to hands up, relax. This for very tense, like I am the robot. Johnny 5 starting Salat, Allahu Akbar. That's not like that, okay? There's a very it's like formally relaxed or relaxed formally. That's the best way of like describing it, okay? So Allahu Akbar. Now, the question comes is that how am I supposed to stand? Because like khushu and khudu. So when you're standing, there should be a slight lean forward, a very slight one. With what? Humility. Where do we look? We're looking at the place where we're going to make sajda, where the sajda mark, that place where your sajda, where your forehead is going to go, that's where you are focusing your eyes on. And your eyes are not supposed to move from there. Okay? So now I've got my position. I've got my place where my eyes are at. I have a little bit of a forward lean for humility because I'm standing in front of Rabbul Alameen. Okay? Now I'm going to recite. And I'm going to make dua. Then, Allahu Akbar. Now, we're all going to go into ruku. Now watch this. Go into ruku and hold it. Right now. Bismillah. Allahu Akbar. If I tap you, go ahead and come up. Good. Good. No. Looks good. 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 No. Good. 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 Where are you looking? There's two different things. The ones that I tapped were looking in front of their feet, roughly about right here. Okay? So roughly the center point, roughly about, call it like 6 inches, 8 inches in between, like above, in front of their feet. Everybody else was looking where they make sajda. Correct? Which one is the correct one? In front of your feet. That's the ideal. That's the official. So when you go into ruku, you're going to go down. You want your, now I understand. So like some of you, like I see the back thing, right? Trust me, I know about the back thing. Okay. So you're again, but ideally, don't forget, we're talking about the ideal here, not what's acceptable. So when you're going to ruku, you're going to go down. Most of everybody had this part correct, which was, may Allah bless you guys. MashaAllah, it's beautiful. You're going to grab your knees. Okay. And Ulama explained that like you want to apply a little bit of pressure again with the like around your thumbs and your pinkies. Okay. So when you go down, you're actually going to spread your fingers, make sure that they're spread, not together. You're going to look right here, roughly, again, center line, roughly call it 6 to 8 inches in front of you. Back should be straight. Your arms, this is a question. Should my arms be straight like this, slight bend, etc.? Remember something. We're all different. Physically, our physiology is slightly different. So one brother has long arms. One brother has short arms. Some brothers have big feet. Some brothers have small feet. Some brothers long legs. Some brothers short legs, okay? Salat is universal for everybody, but sometimes you get so specific in asking these questions that you have to remember that you have to take in consideration the actual, like the physical makeup of the human being. So for instance, if you tell some people with long arms, like your arms have to be straight, like, brother, this brother's not going into ruku. He's going to be all the way up here, but like, you told me my arms are, like, brother, you look like you're making salat like a woman. Brother, they said my arms had to be straight. Yeah, Allah Akbar. Look, get your back straight, okay? Not too far like this, not too far up like that. Look and see where your arms are at. There might be a slight bend. It might be no bend. You might have to have a little bit more. Here's the thing again, though. do not let your elbows go wider than your shoulder length. Why is that? Because in Salat with the Jama'ah, look, there's this, then there's this. Okay? If I do this, I'm impeding on somebody's space now. Now this poor brother, and you probably experienced this at some point. Now the poor brother next to you is trying to figure out, like, how the heck am I going to get? And God forbid you have two people on either side of you. Now it's like, and I've been there. It's like there's nothing but elbows, and I got 4 inches in between their elbows. I'm like, do I go like this? Like, how am I? Do I move them? Like, I don't know what I like. Musa alayhi salam, like part the brothers, or right? And it's because, again, they're not doing it on purpose. They don't realize that they are infringing on your space as a Muslim in the same salat. So they're breaking your rights. Okay? So now you're in ruku, you know where to look, and then here's the thing. This is the big one. When do you move? You're standing up, you're in qiyam, and now the imam is like, Allahu Akbar. Go to ruku. When do you move? After Allahu Akbar? This one says after imam is in position. Okay.
After imam settle with the next position.
Okay, any other different answers? So when he starts it, then you start moving when he says Allah, and then you move at that time, right? Anybody else?
After completion of Allah, like Akbar.
MashaAllah. There you go. What's the correct answer? Your answer. Right? Same thing you said, isn't it? If you have not heard the Ra on Allahu Akbar, you shouldn't be moving. The wording is that after the imam says Allahu Akbar. Why? Because, say for instance, he sneezes, he burps, he breaks his wudu, whatever the case may be. The order has not been given yet. So that you can understand like how big of a deal this is and how it relates to us in our mundane lives. Okay? Mulana Salim Saab at last year's graduation, after Salatul Dhuhr, I think it was like on the Saturday, Friday, or what have you, right? And he talks to everybody. The students are primarily there. And he says, you guys move before the imam. Who's leading the salah here? Is he leading you? Or are you just kind of like casually back there, basically? You don't move until the order is given. And for us that don't understand the seriousness of it, it's the same thing that caused us to lose Uhud. The same way that now the imam is saying Allahu Akbar, and before the poor guy, like, it's like he gets to the lamb, Allah, everybody's gone. I was in Salatul Jumu'ah today, okay? The imam is leading the salah. He paused, I don't know, maybe to burp or whatever, who knows, hiccup, I don't know. We can't even see him. And he pauses. Now the brother next to me assumed like he's done. He drops his hands like he's going into ruku. Imam Saab, he's right here. Imam Saab started the next ayah. I was like, Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Just stay still. But the problem is we think we already know better. That's why if you look, right? Say, for instance, if you're there for the first Jumu'ah, stick around for the second one and just watch everybody make salah. Okay? See how many people are still standing when that Ra happens. 2, 3, 4. That's how many people you have in your community that are capable of following leadership. That's it. Now you know why we have the problems we have. Look at the salat in the masjid. Look at the condition in the masjid. It will tell you everything that is wrong with us. So then that's a good thing, because if you don't know what's wrong, you can't fix it. But Allah gave us all, like same way it's easy to find out what's wrong with us, Allah gave us solutions to all of it. So this is a big deal. Why people don't follow the imam? Because everybody knows better than him. They already know what they're doing. I've been Muslim for this many years. My son is half of the Quran. Like that, like he did the work. What are you taking credit for? Right? I'm qualified now. I've been out in Jamaat, like I've done 4 months, 2 times, 40 days, 80 times, like I'm qualified. No, you're not. Because even for me, if I am in somebody's home, Rabbul Bayt has the haqq. He has the right of leading Salah in his own home. I am behind the owner of the home. I don't care how much I think I know. My behind better not move until Rabbul Bayt says, Allahu Akbar with the Ra. And I'm going to follow my leader in his home. We have to learn to follow leadership, and it starts in Salah. You don't move until he tells you. That's the reason why when you come up, Imam says what? Sami Allahu liman hamida. And then there's this pause. Now, if you'll notice most of the time, you're all standing there with him. Rabbana lakal hamd. Right? Why? Because as the Imam was saying, Sami Allahu liman hamida, you were already saying Rabbana lakal hamd at the same time. And coming up with him. But what's the actual procedure? He says Sami Allahu liman hamida as he comes up. When he finishes, you're coming up and you're saying Rabbana lakal hamd or Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Kilahuma. Both of them are the same. It doesn't matter. But again, I know better than the Imam. So now these two parts, which are supposed to be sequential, are actually happening, are being jammed together at the same time, all mashed up. Why? I don't want to follow the Imam. I already know it's not. I already know what's going to happen. I already know better. So now my takabbur is in the salah. My arrogance and my ignorance are now have found a mode of expression in the salah itself. Now when you make sajda, how do you do it? Go into sajda. We're done after this. So like this is the last one, all right? Go into sajda. Only thing we got after that is the qaida. Jalsa. I'm not going to call you out. MashaAllah. Okay. Make sure that your, number one, your stomach is not touching your thighs. Don't be afraid to go forward a little bit. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it comes in the hadith, right, that when they were going to sajda, you can come up now. We're going to go back and do a second one. You know how we do. Okay. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how much space? He said, it's a space enough that you could pass a baby goat underneath him. Or baby lamb, depending on your region of the world. Goat, lamb, whichever one you love the most. MashaAllah. Did you find the most delectable? Okay. So you should be able to pass a baby one underneath you. So that's how much space roughly. So there should be an opening basically that's there. If you have that opening, and again, so what's too little? Too little means that now you're making salah like our akhawat, our sisters. So when a woman is, look, this is the woman's salah. Look. For her, it's about modesty and minimal movements, and she's like protecting the ornamentation that Allah Ta'ala has given her. So she's covered, and then everything is small movements. So for her, it's just this, right? When she goes into ruku, she's only going this far, and then she's coming back up. When she goes into sajda, she makes herself basically into the smallest package possible. Look familiar? I see brothers all the time, like they have like all the room, front, side, back, and it still makes a lot like a woman. Okay? So how is that sajda supposed to be? It's big, it's masculine, it's manly. It like gives you the impression, be like, you know, he may have his face on the ground right now, but like when he comes up, I wouldn't want to mess with that guy. Right? So what does it look like? When you go into sajda, you're going to go, there's a process. So you're coming down. So first your knees, then your hands, then your nose, then your chin. So you're basically kind of like rolling into it. Does that make sense? Allahu Akbar. Where you're, remember when we did our takbir al-tahrima? Allahu Akbar. That's exactly where you want your hands in sajda. Same thing. Okay? Now, when you're by yourself, how are your arms supposed to be? Like this, yeah. I said what? Oh, afwan. MashaAllah, barakallahu feek, jazakallah khair. You're my true friend. MashaAllah. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So when you're by yourself, okay, this is what it should look like. Look how far my arms are. This is masculine. As opposed to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said that they could see the whites of his armpits when he would go into sajda because his arms were coming open. Are you with me? Now, so think about this. I'm making salah by myself, sunnah, nafil, etc. Allahu Akbar. Big. Like a man. Our akhwat, mashallah. Allahu Akbar. Now the men are making salah like women and the women want to make salah like men.
But sometimes people, when they are inside, they come like this and they're like too wide open.
We're going to get there. Only possible if you see my hands, okay? So it's this whole thing about your toes facing the qibla, your fingers facing the qibla, your face facing the qibla. Keep everything. So when they're turning, what are they doing? Okay? So all you got to do to fix the problem is keep your fingers facing the qibla, pointing towards the qibla. Where is it now? Do we run into problems here? Yes, especially when we're making salah with the jama'ah. Okay, yes. Making salah with the jama'ah. Now we get people that they still want to do the same thing, right? Imam says Allahu Akbar, and the brother goes down because, again, you're trying to wait for the raw, but he's done, okay? So now, like, he's and you're like, dude, share the wealth, brother. Like, we're here too. Like, we're doing this together. You forgot about me. So at that time, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, khayrukum, the best of you are in salah are the ones who have soft elbows in salah. Imagine that. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying the best of you, the ones who have soft elbows in salah. Meaning, show some love to the people next to you. Be considerate. Be selfless. But again, if I'm a selfish person, it makes perfect sense that I make salah and I'm selfish there too. Because that's how I am outside of salah. So now, one second. So inside the salah, okay, you want to make sure I'm giving the brother room. Now, can I still do that and keep my hands in the right place? Yes. And this is how you do it. The common mistake is this. They'll go down and then they're thinking, I need to put my chest in between my elbows. So when they go down, they do this. Allahu Akbar. Now their chest is in between their elbows, so it causes their elbows to flare out. All right? Put them underneath you. Allahu Akbar. See the difference? Put them underneath you. Your arms are going to have to come down, okay? So now we're leaving our ideal position. But why am I leaving it? I'm leaving it because this is the exception. I'm making salah with the jama'ah. I have to be considerate of the brothers on my left and my right. I got to have soft elbows, okay? So now, like when I go into sajda, I need to make sure that I'm accommodating because we're all in this together. You see how like it all carries over, okay? And last but not least, because I've been giving my warning, your qaida, your jalsa. Ideally, okay, it is very similar. Your right foot is going to go perpendicular, straight up and down. You're on your toes. Toes are facing the qibla. If you see me and I don't do this on a regular basis, it's because I actually have a knee condition. I can hold this position very shortly, and then all of a sudden, like it's a drama. Okay, so if you have, we start getting old, brother. Like things just don't work the way they used to anymore. Allahu Akbar. You got to make some adjustments. All right, but ideally, this is how it's supposed to be. Where your hand's supposed to be, not here. Okay, so they don't go on your knees and they don't go up here on your upper thighs. They go right above where the knee is at. Okay? So your fingertips, right, kind of like the, the knee, the part facing this way is done, right above that. And again, you're doing this formal thing like this? No, relaxed. And when you do your attahiyatu and you get to your shahada, you're going to bring your fingers up. This finger right here, you're going to make a 10. So you're going to like put it like this, okay? This one, with me? Can you see? All right? This finger is going to come, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, drop, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu rasuluh. It is going to stay like that until either the Imam says Allahu Akbar and I'm standing for my third rak'ah, or he's going to do taslim because we're done now. But my finger is going to stay like that, pointing downwards until we're like I'm moving or we're finished. Yes, this brother had a question first. Yes. Oh, mashallah, alhamdulillah. Yes. Make room. Show some love. Okay? And yes.
So sometimes we tend to close our eyes.
Good question. No go. Why? Because a Muslim, this is truth and reality. We don't close our eyes to it. We keep our eyes open. We don't ever want to be blinded. Okay?
When you close your eyes, like you said, it's not to be closed, but when you close your eyes, you're able to listen to what is being said.
No. Actually, when the person, a good, qualified, experienced, knowledgeable scholar, spiritual doctor, can watch you in salah and diagnose your issues through the salah. So the same way, when somebody closes their eyes, it indicates a certain deficiency or, and so he's going to help you with the treatment, and then you won't have to close your eyes anymore. Yes.
When you drop your
The finger.
when you exactly drop it.
When you're done with the first part is up, right? Illallah. So after Allah. Yeah, so and then what? So the part with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're dropping down. Yes. Yes.
So I have seen a lot of people in Jummah other prayer times. When they praying, they itches, scratches, etc.
MashaAllah. You're not gonna like you need it, but you're not gonna like it.
And they move also a lot.
Technically, this is important. He's asking, people fidget in salah, all over the place, just moving, small moves, big moves, they're all over the place. One big movement, technically your salah is broken. What's one big movement? Anything more than just from the elbow. Want another one? 3 small movements equal one big movement. Technically, your salat is broken. I go like this. My salat is broken. I go like this. My salat is broken. I go like this. 1, 2, 3. My salat is broken. Why? Takbir tahrima. Remember? Our movements, our words, our looking, our everything is supposed to be controlled. You lost your control. You lost your salah. Don't try to enforce that on people. Technically, if you see somebody and you can't tell if there's salah, so if I walk into the masjid and this brother's over here and he's like, the one with this brother's describing, wild stuff, brother. Ooh, and this is recent. Allah. I said, whoa, brother. Like, you did a whole wardrobe adjustment and everything, like, mashallah, and came right back to ruku. Like, mashallah. Were you reciting the whole time you were adjusting? Allahu Akbar. So please, this is for you, not for you to use on other people. Okay? It's a big point. Yes. Last one. Yeah, it is natural. But what isn't natural is the way that it's done. Okay? So ideally, burping, sneezing, etc., you still want to be considerate. Okay? So, for instance, Ramadan is like a big time for this. All right? There are little things that you can do. For instance, I got to burp. I know I got to burp. Right? Imam says Allahu Akbar. So now everybody went into a ruku. I'm just going to take me a quick, like, split second to let this burp out, okay? Very quietly as possible before I go into ruku. So that way I'm not disturbing these. Use your heads, okay? What's your big thing? Remember, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said it is so important in terms of these smells and everything that you're not even supposed to come to the masjid with the smell of garlic and onions, etc. on your breath. These days you have to deal with the smell of tobacco and cigarettes and so on and so forth. And no bad smells. Brothers come in and it's like, brother, like obviously you had a rough day. It was hot and you did not do deodorant. Okay, fine. But you are not ready to be here. Because now you are selfishly disregarding the rights of everybody else, the peace, the comfort, and tranquility of everybody else, so that you can come to the masjid with your smelly behind and disturb the entire environment, because malaika do not like these disgusting smells. Okay? So, but do you understand, like, you see how much we have to learn? Okay? This is just the beginning. I just wanted to give you like a glimpse, right? Now, think about if we did this on a regular basis. Let's go through methodically. And if we actually sat down once a week on a regular basis just to cover this stuff and give you guys an opportunity to like also like, let's do it, let's engage, and let's get that clarification. So the next time when we, whether it's, we're seeing somebody else or somebody's asking us or we're doing ourselves, again, we can know with confidence. Everything that I gave you here right now, completely comfortable. Like we can sit down with Quduri and I'll give you the Arabic. I'll translate it literally right there for you. And the beautiful thing is the copy I have, they also do ikhtilaf. So right underneath that for me, I also have the positions of each of the imams for each one of those. And also their dalail, their proofs and evidence. So like, ahbab, we don't have to be at each other's throats.
Imam, what about when we are standing in the line? How about
Lining up the saf?
like they are either standing way up or way behind?
Okay. Next month, program. Adab al-Masjid. What are the etiquettes of the masjid and salah in the masjid, being in the masjid, wudu in the masjid, bathroom in the masjid, jumu'ah in the masjid, parking in the masjid? Adab al-Masjid. In detail, inshallah. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. May Allah ta'ala accept. Jazakumullah khairan.